If you're looking to live near the Research Triangle Park in the Raleigh and Durham areas, this video is going to save you. This is hyper-local intel that you can't find on Google and certainly not just by looking on a map. We will dive into the secret spots that many don't think about when you're moving near RTP that will get you the best value for your money and save you time commuting around the notorious RTP traffic. The thing about living near RTP though is that you're going to have to sacrifice something, whether that be value, yard size, commute, or new construction versus resale. You really can't find the best of every one of these categories around RTP, but there are several places that meet the vast majority of these factors, and that start right off in the most underrated location to live near RTP, and that's in Northwest Raleigh. Most people initially think of living in Cary, Briar Creek, or even South Durham for RTP, and will even go as far down as Apex and Holly Springs, but it's not commonly brought up to live in Northwest Raleigh, and it's a unicorn in my opinion for RTP commuters. Commute-wise, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10, as depending on when you leave, you're looking at anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. Yes, you do have to travel on Glenwood Avenue and potentially 540, but for very short periods of time, and there are plenty of back roads to change up the drive with. And for the location within the triangle itself, this is a 10 out of 10 for me. You're minutes from the airport, Crabtree Valley Mall, the Lenovo Center, and just 15 to 20 minutes to downtown Raleigh. You can quickly get to Cary as well. It's an absolutely amazing spot to live. For the houses themselves, this is where a little sacrifice comes in, as I will give them a 6 out of 10. This is a perfect area for those who want larger properties that have tons of trees and privacy in the popular neighborhoods of Brookhaven, Stonehenge, and Leesville, but you will not find hardly any new construction here. And the biggest challenge for some people are that many of the homes were built in the 80s and 90s, some even earlier. So it is a far cry from new construction if you're wanting a newer feeling home. For the area though, an average list price of $677,000 and a price per square foot of $264, this area is relatively cheap for Raleigh as a whole. Note that there are some pockets of homes built within the last 5 to 10 years that would be considered more luxury style homes. So they do exist, they just aren't everywhere. Next up, we'll look above 540 in the Leesville and Southern Durham areas. And this is another hidden gem that is becoming not quite as hidden anymore given all the new construction popping up here. For the commute, I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10, as you're also looking at a 15 to 30 minute commute depending on when you leave. But you are purely relying on back roads that can get crowded, and it doesn't take much for those roads to get really backed up. Location wise, I'll give it a 7 out of 10 for those wanting to spend time in Raleigh, but a 9 out of 10 for those who want to get into Durham, as it's a quick drive into downtown Durham. You are still very close to the airport here, but that also comes with more airplane noise. So make sure you spend some time listening for plane noise. Home-wise, there is a mixed bag of new construction and older neighborhoods, so I'll give it an 8 out of 10 because you get really good value here. You'll find that some homes fall into the same category as the previously mentioned location, and that they are older but have more land and trees. But then you have brand new construction homes that have smaller lots but have great amenities, like Sweetbriar by Mungo Homes or Solano by Pulte Homes. You'll find that the average home price here is around $740,000, but there are plenty of $500,000 homes in Leesville. But the new construction homes are typically between $500,000 and $800,000, and in general, you'll find you get more house for your money as the average price per square foot is $246. So moving even closer into RTP, we'll draw a circle around it that includes parts of Raleigh, Durham, and Morrisville. This area gets a 10 out of 10 for commuting, as you're literally right there. No I-40 or I-540, just city roads with 10-minute or less drives depending on traffic. The overall location is pretty good too, being right off the major highways and convenient to many spots in the triangle. But I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because it can get very congested in there, and you do have to battle airplane noise. For the homes, you'll find plenty of new construction here between homes, townhomes, and plenty of apartments both within and outside of RTP itself. Think of neighborhoods like Kitts Creek and Davis Park Towns. I'm going to give them a 7 out of 10 because they are new construction, are pretty affordable with home prices averaging in the upper 400,000s to the mid 600,000s, and prices per square foot around $220 to $230. But those who do want a yard, it's hard to find here outside of Briar Creek. We are getting close to breaking Cary down, but before we do, if you want to see any homes in any of these areas or talk further about your specific needs, our team would love to help you. Let's touch on Durham next before we jump into Cary, because in this area of Durham, you can get some great deals. Neighborhoods like Hope Valley Farms and Wood Creek provide incredible value in a great location. I'm giving the commute a 9 out of 10 as you're looking at just around 15 minutes or so, and the location overall is a 7 out of 10 for the greater Raleigh area, but a 9 out of 10 for Durham. It's in a great spot. The neighborhoods in general are on the older side with smaller homes, but like the areas mentioned in Raleigh, you get a larger, more private lot with homes typically between $300,000 to $500,000. Hope Valley Farms has some more recently built homes that will be a little higher than that average. And for those wanting country club living, Hope Valley has massive homes and a top tier club. So I will give the neighborhoods here an 8 out of 10. Now for the most popular location, Cary, and for good reason. However, Cary is large and your commute really depends on what part of Cary you're in. Places like Amberley, Cary Park, and even Preston are going to have commutes of 15 to 20 minutes at most and avoid the main highways. But the further you go south and certainly east, the worse your commute gets. The area where I-40 and US 1 intersect is honestly one of the worst spots, so you really want to avoid that stretch. So Cary commutes, I'll give a 9 out of 10 for those on the northern and western sides, and actually a 6 out of 10 for those on the far southern and eastern sides where commutes can exceed 30 minutes. Location-wise, Cary is great and earns a 9 out of 10 only because Cary as a whole will feel crowded at times, but it's hard to beat the location as a whole. And neighborhoods, for quality and variety, Cary gets a 10 out of 10, but I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 because Cary is the most expensive location in the Triangle. You'll find neighborhoods averaging in the 700s to $1 million, with plenty of luxury home options. Many of the yards aren't massive, but there are some options with roughly half an acre. You will find many of the homes in the 27513 area are on the older side, as the core of Cary was built over 40 years ago, and these smaller and more inexpensive homes are really the only thing keeping Cary's average home price from being close to $1 million. Now, Apex, one of the best places to live in America, is another very popular spot for those working in RTP. The thing is, it's not really that much cheaper than Cary as a whole, and it's arguably just as or more crowded than Cary given its reliance on the jam-packed Highway 55 and US 1. So for the commutes, I would only recommend Apex if you're willing to take I-540 and pay the tolls that will equate to roughly $6 to $8 per round trip, which is rarely crowded. This will keep your commute in the 20 to 30 minute range, giving it an 8 out of 10 ranking. But if you take US 1 to I-40, I'm giving that commute a 4 out of 10. While it's still only a 30 to 40 minute commute, it's a very frustrating one. Apex's location as a whole does earn it an 8 out of 10 as it's in a great spot, but like Cary, it can also get very congested when driving into Raleigh. And Apex's neighborhoods are also very similar to Cary's. Great variety, homes, schools, but it's also very expensive. Not quite as expensive as Cary, but you're still looking at $600,000 to $800,000 on average. I'll also give Apex's neighborhoods a 10 out of 10 with some of the most popular ones being Scotts Mill and the massive Bella Casa. If you're willing to pay the premiums of Cary and Apex, these are the perfect suburbs for those with families. Now I'll leave you with 2 more spots to consider outside of the more obvious Cary and Apex. And the first is actually 12 Oaks and Holly Springs. This is a great neighborhood with tons of amenities. It's fairly priced, and if you're willing to take I-540, you have a pretty easy commute as you can sneak out the back way and avoid Highway 55 altogether. And finally, the 27614 area code is stacked with so many different neighborhoods. From more affordable older neighborhoods with large lots to luxury new construction, you have tons of options here. It's in a great location overall where you can feel out of the busyness of the city, but close enough for convenience. And the commutes are all around 30 minutes given all the back roads you can use. If you want more specifics about neighborhoods in these areas, please check out our videos breaking them down. Thank you for watching.